Homestead. I hope you guys have had a great week. Ours has been fun, relaxed-ish. It's first week back at school. So for me, I guess it's been a little more relaxed. Not quite into the grind of everything yet. But today we're going to talk a little bit about gardening. Super fun. I think we'll start with our highs and lows.
Yeah, why not?
So my high is that my aunt has been visiting us from California, so it's been really nice to have her here. So my low is probably that we lost another baby goat to coccidia. It's been really unusually hot and humid, and just hot. We've talked to other goat owners, and it's just been a real struggle this year. That was really, really sad. Trying to get him healthy and not being able to. That was bad.
Yeah, I would agree. That was my low. It's unfortunately like kind of part of the learning curve.
Yeah.
And we are still in the learning curve. So we did get some helpful hints though on how to prevent it in the future. So hopefully as we do continue to learn just, livestock stuff and everything else, then we will have less and less of these. So my high is that we have had Cass's aunt here, so it's the same thing. A little bit boring this week, I guess, because they're all the same, but that's been a lot of fun. We don't get to see her very often, and it's been like I think 2 years or something like that since the last time we saw her. So just getting some time with her has been really good this week, and looking forward to a little bit more time with her. We do have like thunder coming in, so we'll see if we can get through this today, and we'll see what happens. But
yeah, so I'm really excited because I didn't really ever think that I would be able to have a banana tree, but we're getting a banana tree, and I just think that's the coolest thing ever. And citrus, right? We're going to talk about citrus too. We can grow citrus here in South Carolina. I was super excited because I guess it was about a year ago when Jeremy came home and told me about this citrus nursery he found in our area, and I was like mind blown. Someone has a citrus nursery here. So I was super excited because I'm from California and I had citrus in my backyard, and that's something I've wanted since I left California. So the fact that I can have it here on my property is amazing. So that's what we're going to be sharing with you today.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe we'll like throw in talking about some of our nut trees. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you're from the land of fruits and nuts, so let's just make this all about my
California.
wife. We'll dedicate it to my wife. So this is our banana tree that we just put in. I will admit this is a little bit of an experiment for us, but this particular variety is a cold hardy variety and should do well here in South Carolina in our zone 8B. It is a Musa variety, M-U-S-A. I think I'm saying that right. But all Musa banana trees are more cold hardy than some of your typical ones. This one is a fruiting one, so it does fruit and it is edible. It's actually very similar to the Chiquita bananas that you would get in the grocery store. So this particular Musa variety, more specifically, is a Grand Naine. It's actually spelled N-A-I-N-E, which literally means in French, large dwarf. Yeah, I don't know, oxymoron. But it is considered more of a kind of a dwarf-ish banana tree, but it's still large for a dwarf, hence the name. They do get about 10 feet tall. They are self-fruiting, meaning you don't have to have a second one in order for them to set fruit. Now, it can take them like 3 to 5 years before they start producing fruit. It's 3 to 5 years from the time that plant started growing. I'm not real sure how much longer we have on this one, but fingers crossed, maybe next year. So these guys are cold hardy, supposedly down to like 20 degrees. And once you start getting below that, it gets a little bit iffy. We rarely get that cold here. And if we do, it's typically for like a couple hours and then, we're going back up in temperature. So I have a lot of hope for them. One thing that I'm planning on doing just to help get this guy through those cold nights is these wood chips that we have right here. We'll probably really pile it up around it because the wood chips, they break down, that generates heat, and so it will keep the ground warmer. With any plant, really, the cold hardiness it does affect the top, but as long as you can keep those roots warmer than, you know, kind of the cold temperatures that we get, then they typically are fine. The other thing with bananas are they're heavy feeders, which is the other reason why I'm keeping wood chips around them, because those wood chips are gonna break down, make a really rich compost, and continue to feed the roots of this guy so that hopefully it will grow up and produce a flower and we'll get lots of bananas. So we'll see.
So Jeremy mentioned that we might talk about some trees, some nut trees. This is a hazelnut tree. These are our second round of hazelnut trees. The last ones didn't really go. We decided to plant hazelnuts because I love them. We had hazelnuts on my property in California, and I would love going and getting the nuts and taking them to the porch and cracking them, and I think they're amazing to eat. So just on their own, and obviously we like to have them in cookies and baking, so I'm really excited. I really hope that these guys do well. We have 2 of them, and the other one actually has buds, so there's hope for them.
All right, I got my helper right here, Butter. So, she's gonna lay down for me to pet her, but we'll see how she does. So this one is a pawpaw. It doesn't really fall into the citrus category, but it's in line with our citrus, like in our tree line, citrus tree line. So we're gonna include it. This is actually one little area that in our farm tour we forgot to include, so you get to see it now. But pawpaws are native to South Carolina, so this is a native tree, should be fairly easy. The biggest thing with them is they do like to have kind of a wet area. They don't like to stay wet, but they like to get a lot of water, but they need soil that will dry out. So where this one's planted, we also have another one right over behind you guys. Most of our water, about half of the water on the property from the front, drains down this way, and it runs right through here. So this one is actually situated in our kind of swell and where all the water runs. So it gets lots of water every time it rains. They are pretty happy. They are also a host plant for some butterfly. I don't know, don't remember. I wanna say it's a swallowtail. We have not had caterpillars on it, thankfully, because it's kind of young and they could do a lot of damage on it. The fruit, I've actually never had one. I'm really curious to try it. The downside to them are they have a very short shelf life. They only will last about a day or 2 after they're picked. So you kind of got to pick them and eat them and enjoy them when they're coming in. Does that feel good? Oh, you're not going to lick me in the face. No, you're not. Okay. So apparently it's kind of like a cross between, I'm trying to remember, it's like 3 things: a banana, a mango, and something else that's kind of a citrusy thing. So kind of a curious flavor. But yeah, hopefully in a few years we'll start getting fruit off this guy, and we'll be able to try it for ourselves. The other thing that makes them a little bit of a challenge is they don't have a lot of things that will actually pollinate the flowers, and the flowers do have to be pollinated to produce fruit, like most things. But there's a particular fly that pollinates it, and it's the only pollinator of it. So there are ways to draw them in, not attractive ways. Let's just say it's the same fly that's attracted to rotting meat. So I don't know. We'll see if we get any of them pollinated through those flies. So we're gonna move on to our grapefruit, which is the next thing in line with these guys. Watch out, Butter. This is grapefruit. I did not realize that we could grow these here, but supposedly you can. I actually looked into it when I saw this tree in the nursery, and again, it is fairly cold hardy citrus. So it will, once you drop below like 25, it becomes a little bit more questionable, but supposedly cold hardy down to like 18 degrees. So if we get that cold, there will be damage done on the top, but as far as the health of the plant and the tree, it will be able to sustain that and come back out. So a sad but fun story with this guy. I planted him, I got him home. I had like picked the best tree out of like 40 trees that they had in the nursery. Like one that the top I felt like was just right, all this stuff. And this guy was just planted this year. Then we got a storm and the wind was like really kind of whipping around, and it got strong enough apparently with even a sky this small and snapped it in half. And I was like oh my gosh. So there was like nothing left on it. There were no leaves. It was literally like the trunk sticking up, and that was it. So I was like, I'm just gonna leave it. We're gonna see what happens. And sure enough, it started pushing buds out right here at the top, if you can see this. And it looks like it's gonna be a viable trunk. So we shall see.
So one of our friends told us about a nursery, a local nursery, that's called Simply Citrus. And my husband knows me, and he knows that I'm sentimental and I love mandarin oranges. I always had mandarin oranges growing up on my grandparents' property, and we'd go out. Hold on, buddy. We'd go out and we'd pick them and just enjoy eating them. And like I said, I'm sentimental. I love things that remind me of what it was like when I was growing up. And I wanted my children to have that same experience. So when we found out that we could get some mandarin oranges, I was just so excited. So we took a family field trip and we went to Simply Citrus. They have so many citrus options. It's an entire nursery. And I, of course, had to get mandarins. So I wanted to have the same thing in my yard for my kids that I had growing up.
Do you like snakes?
No. So this nursery, Simply Citrus, is in a rural location. It's surrounded by woods, but it's in an open field. It gets rather cold there. So this eased my concerns about them being planted here and us losing them to the frost or to the freeze. We've actually had some really cold nights where when we've had these planted, and they've done really well. We did cover them. We have a fabric that we use for our garden, and so we had extra fabric left over that we weren't using in our garden, and we wrapped the entire tree and wrapped the base, and they did fine. The leaves turned a little yellow, but the tree was fine. So I think that overall we've decided that they're going to be a great addition. We shouldn't have a problem getting fruit off of them. We've actually already been able to harvest fruit. What we were told was that if we could get them through the first 2 years, we wouldn't have to cover them anymore. I'm really excited. I think that we will definitely be able to continue that and have mandarins on our property.
All right, so the last tree that we're going to talk about is the tree that every single southern homestead or farm needs, and it is the classic southern nut. Yes, that's right. The pecan slash pecan slash pecan. However you want to say it, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. So we did plant this guy the first year we were here, and this was actually a Christmas present from my lovely wife because she knew that I really, really wanted one, and we needed to go ahead and get it in. This one is either Candy or Stewart's. I really honestly don't remember the variety. We have another one that is at the edge of the woods. It's more there. I mean, we're hoping to get nuts off of it, and hopefully we will, but it is in a less ideal spot for the tree because it is kind of at the edge of the woods. But we needed another one for pollination's sake. And this guy is like caressing my neck right now. And so we did put it at the edge of the woods so that we could get that cross-pollination going on. One thing with pecans is you've got to have two, and ideally two different varieties, to get good pollination and good nut yield on these guys.
So those are some of the trees that we have on our homestead. Thank you guys for joining us. Let us know if you have any questions about any of these trees, or we would love to hear your experience with these trees. Like if you have a banana tree, I want to know how it's doing. So let us know.
Yeah, I'm really curious about the banana. Like that one is the one that is like farthest outside my comfort zone, I guess. So like I said, it's definitely an experiment, but we're really hoping that it does work. We go through a ton of bananas at our house.
Like way too many.
Yeah, if it does work, we'll enjoy a lot of them, but we also got to figure out ways to preserve bananas. Freeze dry them maybe. Ooh, I don't know. Yeah. That would be good.
Yeah.
Dehydrated? I mean, banana chips. Come on, that's a given.
We did that before. I didn't like it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. we'll play around with it. And hey, when that day comes, then we'll make a video about
Yeah,
it.
we'll let you know.
Because, I mean, everyone needs to know how to preserve bananas.
Right.
So we are excited about these fun little additions that really are like right on the cusp of the hardy zone, cold hardy zone for us. I feel confident that they will be fine here. And if you are in South Carolina in like the mid-state to lower state, you too could be growing these. Upstate would be a big risk, I would say. But anywhere that's like 8B or higher, all of these things will do fine and they will thrive. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video that is dedicated to my lovely wife from the land of fruits and nuts. It's okay, I chose her. But hope you guys have a great week and be blessed.